Soft background music starts, sound of forest birds and distant tools clinking. There's something magical about creating something with your own hands, something that doesn't just exist but moves, breathes, and carries you into the unknown. This is the story of a small camper, not bought, not borrowed, but built from scratch. A dream that began in the corner of a workshop and ended on the forest trail. It all started with a simple thought: what if I could build a camper I could drive? Not a van, not an RV, but something small, light, and personal. A one-person camper that could roll through nature, powered by creativity, patience, and a handful of tools. The idea felt crazy at first, but every great invention begins that way. So, I started sketching, rough outlines on paper, a small cabin with wheels, a canopy, and space just enough for one traveler and a dream. The next step was gathering the materials: old bicycle parts, lightweight metal tubes, bolts, wheels, and a bright yellow tarp. The yellow canopy would not just be protection, it would be the camper's identity, bright, bold, and full of life. Piece by piece, the parts started to come together. The frame was light but strong, the wheels were rugged enough to take on rough paths, and the base began to take shape. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, when bolts didn't fit, when cuts were uneven, and when the design didn't align. But that's the beauty of DIY, it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. With the frame laid out on the ground, the true form of the camper began to emerge. Every joint had to be precise, every weld had to hold under pressure. The front was designed with a clear windshield, transparent enough to see the trail ahead, yet strong enough to handle wind and dust. The steering was simple, connected directly to the front axle, not high-tech, but functional. As I tightened each screw, I could feel the idea transforming into something real, something I could touch, feel, and one day, drive. From the left side, the camper revealed its clever simplicity. An open panel allowed easy access inside, showing a small seat, a steering bar, and a bit of storage for tools and food. Everything was designed for efficiency, no wasted space, no unnecessary weight. It was like designing a tiny home on wheels, practical, compact, and uniquely mine. I spent hours adjusting the balance, making sure the wheels aligned and the seat sat perfectly at the center. Each adjustment brought me closer to the moment when I'd finally take it for a ride. On the right side, I added small hooks for hanging bags and a small fold-out shelf for cooking or holding tools. It wasn't luxurious, but it was smart. Every inch had purpose. The metal frame gleamed under the sun as I tightened the last nuts. The camper looked simple from afar, but up close, it was a blend of creativity and engineering. I realized that real design doesn't come from big budgets, it comes from big imagination. At the back, I designed a small storage box, a space for tools, flashlight, a folded sleeping mat, and some food supplies. The rear door could open downward, working as a small table when needed. The back wheels were thick, with deep tread, ready to roll through mud and grass. And as I took a step back, looking at the camper from behind, I smiled. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine, and it was ready to move. Now, it was time to bring the front to life. The windshield went on, clear and curved, attached with screws to the front frame. It caught the sunlight beautifully, giving the camper a bright, adventurous face. I installed small headlights and a simple control bar for steering. A small battery connected the lights, powered by a solar panel I'd fixed on top. It wasn't just a camper anymore. It was a vehicle, a handmade traveler, built for one mission: freedom. Finally, the day came, the first test drive. The air was cool, the forest was quiet, and my heart raced with excitement. I climbed inside, closed the small canopy flap behind me, and grabbed the steering handle. A small push, and the wheels began to roll. The camper moved, slow, steady, but smooth. As I drove down the forest path, leaves brushed against the sides, and sunlight flickered through the trees. I couldn't believe it, something I built with my own hands was actually moving beneath me. It felt like piloting a tiny spaceship through the woods. As the sun set, I parked the camper in a clearing surrounded by trees. Birds were calling, crickets had begun their song, and a cool breeze rustled the canopy. I opened the back, pulled out my sleeping mat, and switched on the small light inside. It glowed warmly against the yellow tarp, creating a soft, cozy shelter. I cooked a simple meal on a small burner, sitting on the step of my camper, watching the stars appear one by one. The forest was alive, peaceful, breathing, and I felt completely free. No hotel, No technology, just the sound of nature, the scent of wood, and the glow of my handmade camper. That night, as I lay inside, I realized something beautiful. You don't need much to feel alive. Just a spark of imagination, a bit of courage, and the will to build. Morning arrived with golden sunlight streaming through the canopy. The dew sparkled on the grass, and the forest woke gently around me. I brewed coffee, opened the front flap, and looked out at the world beyond my little camper. It was peaceful, like the earth itself had paused to smile. I thought about the journey, the mistakes, the effort, the small victories. Every scratch, every loose bolt, every moment of frustration had led to this one moment of satisfaction. The camper wasn't just a vehicle, it was a story, a symbol of what one person can do with a little imagination and a lot of persistence. Building something like this isn't about saving money or showing off. It's about rediscovering creativity, about proving that innovation doesn't need factories or million-dollar tools. It's about connection with your hands, your mind, and the world around you. When you build something from scratch, you're not just creating an object, you're creating a piece of yourself. You learn patience, you learn problem solving, and you learn that failure is just another step toward success. This camper reminded me of that. As I packed up and prepared to leave, ideas for improvements filled my head. Maybe a better suspension, stronger wheels, or a solar fan inside for cooling. Maybe even a fold-out kitchen at the back or a rain cover that extends sideways. That's the beauty of DIY, it never really ends. There's always room for one more idea, one more upgrade, one more spark of inspiration. Driving back through the trail, I could feel the smooth roll of the wheels and the steady hum of motion. The camper wasn't fast, but it was steady, and every inch of that road was a celebration of effort. Passing through sunlight and shadow, it felt like a dream on wheels. A small symbol of freedom built from nothing more than imagination and effort. If there's one thing this build taught me, it's this. You don't need to wait for perfect tools, perfect plans, or perfect timing. You just need to start. Even the smallest idea can become something incredible if you give it life. Every great journey begins with a single screw, a single piece of wood, a single dream. You, not just on the road, but in your heart. Soft music fades in again, sound of birds and wind. So here it is, my tiny drivable camper. A home, a project, and an adventure all in one. If this story inspires you to build something, no matter how small, then remember this. Don't wait for permission, don't wait for perfect conditions. Just build, because when you build with your own hands, you also build a better version of yourself. Camera pans out as the camper rolls slowly down the forest trail, sunlight shining through the trees.